Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Awakenings Moments to Inspire. My name is Angela, and I would like to welcome you to this beautiful day in June. I can't believe we have made it. I think everybody needs to put your hands up in the air, clap, deaf clap. This is how people who are deaf or hard of hearing clap. They do this. So everyone put your hands in the air and clap that and it is June and it's June 9th. Oh my God, it's such an amazing time for us all. I think to begin with, what I always love to begin with is an Ave Saw breath. Um, Oh, before I do that, though, I should welcome you all, and I should also let you know where we're streaming. Welcome to onenesstalkradio.com, and we're also streaming live on YouTube, and we are also streaming on Oneness Talk Radio Facebook. So, welcome to all who are out there now in the land of stream. I'm hoping that I'm coming across well to you all. I seem to be up and running this week a little bit better than I had been last week. As you could probably tell, my stream got cut short last week due to some technical difficulties. But I think we've cleared those all up, and I think we're on track now, which is an absolutely blessing and good thing. So I'm so thankful that we've gotten all the technical difficulties up and out of the way. So back to welcome. And back to Ave Sa and Ave Breath. I like to open my show just to get us all in the same, I would like to say frame of mind, but I don't think so. That's not what I'm calling for. I'd like to get us all within the same energy, within the same centeredness. And Ave Sa is an absolutely beautiful and perfect way to do that. And so, how we begin with an Ave Sa breath, for those of you who are not familiar with Ave Sa, is we inhale through our nose. And as we do so, we think of Ave, which means hail, hail to the divine, hail to the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and hail to the divine spark inside of yourself. And saw, what saw is it's a breath out of your mouth. It's a release into the moment at hand, to the now, and to whatever it is that you are seeking strength to walk forward through, or are blessed to have. Ave Sa can help in both situations, as a celebration and as a way of moving through energies that are uncomfortable. And the first key thing you do with an Ave Sa breath would be to place a hand, at least one or two, to your heart. And then on the inhale, you think Ave again. It means divine. Think of the divine. Even just think of the divine spark inside of yourself. And then Sa, it's a surrender, a release. So here we go. We're going to do it 3 times, okay? Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Oh, there we go. Centered and together. If you want to learn more about the Ave Sa breath and Ave Sa protocol, I would definitely encourage you to go to shriandkira.com to learn more about Ave Sa and about the Yoga Self-Ascension, which is a path that I have embraced, followed, and so many beautiful things have come to me through the embracing of Ave Sa and the yoga of self-ascension. It's non-dogmatic, and because of the gifts that have been brought to me here very recently, I have been called to really look in depth into what yoga of self-ascension really means to me. Um, and I wrote something down and I wanted to share it with you because I thought it was quite quite to the point, and I just wanted to share it all with you now. So if you can hear the clicking in the background, I do apologize. That is my dog, and she is wanting to be in here with me. But I've the way the studio is set up, there's not enough room for her, so I've had to keep her outside. So every once in a while, you might hear at the door or her clicking, and my husband going, "Come on, come on, come on." That's just my Penelope. One day I'll bring a picture in and show you her to you. Um, but back to the yoga of self ascension. What does the yoga of self ascension mean to me? What is yoga of self ascension? These are the things that I've found these two questions very near and dear to my soul the last couple of days, just by the gifts that have been brought to me over the last couple of days. And these are the answers I've come up with. What is the yoga of self ascension? It is a non dogmatic spiritual self exploration, healing, and growing journey through the beliefs and practices that resonate with you. And it is guided by the framework of peace, love, joy, and knowledge of oneness. There is no hierarchy that is telling you how to feel and how to have your relationship with God's source. There are just teachers, mentors, and healers, and a community, or Minga, of like minded beings, each on their own journeys and all in complete service of others. Charity, love, presence, peace, love, and joy. And what it means to me is is very difficult to put into words. For a lifetime of searching for a community, to embrace the yoga of self ascension, and to know that it's dogmatic and that you can you learn at the level of consciousness that you're at. You just embrace the community, embraces you, and the service to others is so lifting that you can't help but to smile and to be inspired and to be uplifted, and to raise your vibration and self ascend, basically, plain and simple. So that, for those of you who are wanting to know more about the yoga of self ascension, that's what yoga of self ascension means to me. But again, I encourage you deeply to go to shriandkira.com and just explore. There's lots of teachings, lots of lessons there, and they explain it so beautifully. Again, you understand at the level of consciousness that you're at. That is the book of self ascension. You keep revisiting the lessons months later, years later, and they have a different resonance to them. They have a different feeling to them. You understand them on a deeper or different level. Your perspectives are widened and broadened, and you can see and feel so much more. But again, it's just, you just revisit them over and over and over again whenever you're drawn, and whatever you are drawn to, whatever lessons call to you, those are the lessons that you needed in that moment. That's what I love about the yoga of self-ascension. So now on to the next little part of the show. Now, usually I like to also offer up everybody the ascended numerology for the day. Numerology for the 9th of June 2022 is an 11. And that's a prime. So it's a very strong core number, right? And what an 11 is, it's perfect when you think about it. It's absolutely perfect. When you think about it, 11 is a 1 and a 1. And what do 1 and 1 do? They mirror each other. So that's what 11 is. It's the mirror of divine harmony, the mirror of divine energy. It's the universe showing you and gifting you with the mirrors in your life? And are you awake and open to receive them? Because today is a powerful day to do that. And I would recommend keep your eye out. What are your mirrors? What are your gifts today? What is the universe trying to show you? Open yourself up and be aware. Um, Notice what you're noticing, is what Kira likes to say. So, what you're noticing. And embrace those gifts and embrace those mirrors for exactly what they're teaching you, because they're exactly what you need in this moment, right? So again, if you are wanting to learn more about ascended numerology, which is your soul's mission, it's more than just a divination tool. It is your soul's mission here, now on earth, and you can learn so much about yourself through ascended numerology. And it is a wonderful gift to have learned. Master Lady Kira Ra brought it back and was able to gift it to us, and I'm just honored that I was a pupil of hers and was able to learn that. So again, go to ShriAndKira.com if you want to learn more about ascended numerology. Now, last week was an interesting week of the ending of Mercury retrograde. Actually, we were cleared of the Mercury retrograde the very day I had my show last week, which makes me kind of giggle when I think about all of the technical difficulties that I had last week. So I'm just kind of chalking it up to Mercury retrograde. But what I wanted to talk to you about last week, and I never really got the chance to do that, and so I thought of this week, is nature and the inspirations that you can find in nature. But I'm not talking about just going out and walking in nature. And yes, you can, the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above, and definitely the thing we call love. But it can be more than that when we really step back and take a look at the big picture, right? The big picture of life and of nature. And I think I was reflecting on this past week. School has kind of robbed us of maths and sciences. We tend to put those aside and not think that unless you're really into math and science, most of the rest of us are like, no, I don't want to take math. I don't want to take science. But I have come to embrace science and math for one reason only, is because it is amazing and it shows you just how truly one we all are. So not only is this the journey of my journey of enlightenment, my journey of awakening and inspiration was definitely guided through spirituality, but it was also through the re-embracing of science and understanding it on a much deeper level than just the materialistic parts that we kind of all jam together, right? And so there are stories that can tell that are inspiring, that you know, are events in your lives or occurrences in your lives that alter us and that are part of our expansion, part of our growth and change in paradigm. They've happened. They're my click. That's what I like to call the click. But then there's the stories that we've forgotten about. And this is what I want to try and bring to you today, is the love of life on a different, and nature on a completely different scale and on a completely different level. And I want to do it by taking us all back into a science class, if that's even at all possible. But it's going to be a little bit of science mixed in with spirituality and stuff. But when you look at it and you see it, you just go, wow. And then at the end, I want to close with something that is more pure, and that is an understanding that is just as great and just as strong and just as powerful, but is so pure in its simplicity. And I'll save that for a little later. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about nature now. I also wanted to let you know and to remind you that we are in the chat, and I am also in the chat. So if you have anything that you want to talk about, any you want to talk to me, talk to each other, by all means, I encourage you to do so. One day I might get a call board. We'll see. We'll think about it. But right now, this is my way of communicating with you. So by all means, I would love to talk to you and communicate with you. So please, please put it in the chat. And in fact, I'm just going to encourage you right by putting something there myself. All right. So back to nature and what she has to offer. We all love to go walking in the sunshine. We all love to see Mother Nature, plants, trees, the clouds above. We like to look at all of the wonders of nature around us. But I don't know how in depth we all really realize just how wondrous and amazing nature truly, truly is. When you think about it, the universe is 13.8 billion years old. 13.8 billion years. We can't even comprehend that number, right? The Earth herself is over 4 billion, I think 4.2 billion years old. Again, can't comprehend that. Life on Earth encapsulates and helps to grow Gaia. Gaia is a living organism. She would not be a living organism if there was not life on Earth. Not that life covers her surface. Life actually changed and helped to produce Gaia as this framework of life that we have here now. An example would simply be if there was no bacteria and fungus to make soil, our surface would be barren, rocky. We would not have that soft dirt that we all like to stick our toes in and squish our feet around in, and just especially after a rainstorm when it's all muddy and we love to stick our toes in and just squish around. Or when we were little, we loved to make mud pies. None of that would be possible because life needed to happen. Fungus, bacteria, they all needed to happen to break up the soils so that the softer soils could cover and layer those harder sedimentary stones. So we wouldn't even have our squishy toe mud without life. Isn't that amazing? The clouds above, we would not have clouds because when Gaia first evolved, when she first was created, the atmosphere was not oxygen. It was a mixture of gases and chemicals that we couldn't breathe. And life evolved in a different way at first. But then life created oxygen. And from oxygen, together with the water that has seeped up through the core of Gaia, oxygen created those clouds that we love to lie on our back and on a summer's day and just stare up at and decide whether or not they're bunnies or turtles, or is that a whale swimming by. Our puffy cumulus clouds that we love to dream upon and embrace wouldn't exist without life, because life had to create the oxygen in order for that to happen. Again, is absolutely amazing. Gaia life is amazing, and it's all one. It all is completely interconnected with one another. Let me think. Oh, so many other stories. Oh, one of my favorite stories that I learned from my journey here recently was just how amazing life is, cellular life, because we're multicellular, right? There's trillions and trillions of cells, 5 trillion, I think, in the human body, trillions of cells in plants, trees. But how did we go from single cell organism, how do we go from single celled organisms to something that is able to walk, talk, move through life, experience life, co-create, embrace the world around it, and understand who Gaia is and who we are. That's consciousness, right? And so, how did a single cell turn into trillions of cells that work together in harmony so that we can co create together and experience life? Well, it's a funny story. It's all about cooperation. And I think that's what's been lost in our society nowadays is cooperation. We think it's the survival of the fittest out there, that it's dog eat dog, that we need to work in order to make ends meet, or else the next guy will get it, or you know, bad things will happen, and that fear takes over. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Cells, cellular life was formed, multicellular life, I should say, was formed literally through cooperation. Twice, not just once, twice. It happened both in plant life and actually three times technically, plant life and then in animal life. A bacteria cell ate another bacteria cell. And in this case, with plants, it was chloroplasts, and the bacteria that ate the chloroplast bacteria, the chloroplasts can make energy from the sun. So this bacteria is able to make food for the bacteria that it was in. And the same with human beings, same with animals. A bacteria, an animal bacteria, had to eat another cell that would allow it, and that cell that retained, he ate it, but he didn't digest it. He didn't encompass it. The cells worked there, and the cells that cell ate produced energy for it so that it wouldn't have to go searching for food anymore. And that in us, in our cells, that individual cell that was eaten is the remnants of our mitochondria. And our mitochondria, isn't that amazing? I find that amazing. Our mitochondria are the remnants of a bacteria or a cell that got eaten by another cell. It's the most amazing thing. The mitochondria in our cells, which is the thing that makes us move, it feeds our bodies, which is the food that we eat into the energy that we need to move through life, create, and do all these amazing, amazing things. But it needed energy. So that's what the mitochondria does. But it can't reproduce with, so when our cell divides and splits, the mitochondria has to divide and split on its own. So no matter what, our individual cell and our mitochondria have to work together individually, separate from one another, in order to make our cells work. Again, amazing, amazing, amazing. And here's another thing that's amazing about our cells. Our cells are, they each have their own level of consciousness. Think about it. If your cell, if you take 3 cells, and this is done, found out scientific study. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD. I recommend you go out and search some stuff about him. He's an amazing, amazing man. But he did an experiment when he took stem cells. So the stem cells are the very first basic cell that we start out as. So he took 3 cloned stem cells, sets of stem cells, so all exactly the same, and he put them in one set in 3 separate petri dishes. And then all he did was change the culture medium, so the environment that those cells grew up and divided in. And lo and behold, so he changed the temperature, he changed the salinity, he changed some chemicals here, oxygen levels, that kind of thing. And what he found was when that happened, different types of cells grew. So a cell would grow, a heart cell would grow, a fat cell would grow. All these different cells would grow, but they were all from the same stem cell. So they were all from the same cells. but it was the environment. The environment changed what that cell would become. So that also shows us another thing, is that we can definitely change our body chemistry, our body makeup, who we are, just by having a better mindset, having a better environment. So if we can have, take time out and for ourselves, have some quiet time, invest in having fun, doing something that for yourself. These kind of things help your environment and help your mind, your body to relax and your cells to change. It's amazing. Again, I highly would recommend you go and check out Bruce Lipton. But what I'm trying to get everyone to understand here is it's cooperation is the name of the game. Cooperation in life is it's not that dog eat dog that we thought. It's about working together right down to the cellular level of who we truly are. And that is what I find amazing. We interact with each other, and the animals, plants, and fungus, bacteria, we all help to balance out Gaia on a global level, literally. I just learned this recently. There was a study done where they've done a theoretical world where there are two types of daisies. One is white daisies and one is black daisies. Black daisies prefer the gold, and white daisies prefer the warmth. And what happens is over time, when it's cold, the darker daisies thrive, and when it's warm, the lighter daisies thrive. And so until there's a balanced equilibrium between the two, and eventually the planet sustains itself where it can keep both light daisies and dark daisies in equilibrium and equal balance, and the atmosphere stabilizes, the earth the ground stabilizes, everything stabilizes around this. And so that's a very simplistic example of how life actually stabilizes this planet. So that's why all the more care that we need to have with embracing nature and being the stewards of and custodians of the planet. It's not that we have the right to go out and take these things, survival of the fittest, right? It's that we have the ability and the knowledge to act like a bee in this case. They say you can be a locust or you can be a bee, and locusts take and bees give. And so they say you can be a locust, where we're just constantly taking survival of the fittest from the planet, or we can be a bee that works communally together with nature to create life. And so it's this balance and this equilibrium. So without life on Gaia, without life on Earth, Gaia herself would be a barren, rocky place with stinky smog in the air and water that is full of different chemicals and no oxygen. It would be a very different world. Nature is an absolutely amazing thing. We can come and go outside and look at sun and look at the trees and animals around us, but I don't know if we sometimes stop and really connect with just how interconnected we all are at keeping ourselves alive and the planet alive. And science is really, and the embracing of science and physics can really show you that. And I know it seems a little odd to be talking about science and physics and things like that on a more spiritual channel, on a open, non-dogmatic type way of thinking. You think, oh, science, it can be so materialistic. Yes, it can, but it can also be very enlightening if you can pull back, like I was saying, and see it from that wider, broader view. I'm just going to check my notes to make sure I've gotten everything that I wanted to discuss with you today. Oh, yes. That's one thing I had here. Is a lot of people would say, but like I was going back to, we were talking about, um, we always think of survival of fittest. We go out and we enjoy nature. We take the deep breath. It calms us down. We understand that level. But I, when here's the fun part, is when you close your eyes, when you open your heart, when you feel out with love, you do pull back and you begin to see all of these fine, minute little puzzle pieces of Gaia, of the universe, of how things work, how the solar systems work, how the Milky Way works. You can be blown away by just how interconnected and how balanced we all are. And we can't tip one without affecting the other. And that's part of what I'm trying to convey here today too, is the interconnectedness of us all. um, so the last half of the show, I wanted to just bring to you a story and then a small little brief meditation just to take us out into the wonders of the world around us, right? To help you get that feeling and sense of oneness together. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve here. But I have a story that is very near and dear to my heart that I learned from an Indigenous elder here in my community in Ontario, Canada. And here we have, in my community, we are blessed to have two uh, Indigenous reservations in the area. I grew up very close to one and have very close Indigenous friends, and I'm just and an Indigenous mentor, which I'm honored and so thankful to have found in my life. But I learned this story from an elder from my community, and her name is Dorothy Taylor, and it is a tale about sacred water. And this story is told through the language of the Ojibwa Anishinaabe, or it's an Algonquian language. And I'm not very good at pronunciations, but I will do my best. And I want to do this story as much honor as possible. And I would highly recommend, if you have a moment sometime later today, to please Google Elder Dorothy Taylor and Sacred Water. You can actually watch her tell the story directly. But I will tell it here and try and do it as much justice as possible here and now. So, this is the story of sacred water. And the great creator God, the sacred waters, were the first things that the great creator God created in his first breath, their first breath of unconditional love. And the creator God, these sacred waters are called Gitchitawanebe. And these are the beliefs of the people of Turtle Island, which is what they call North America. So, sacred waters. In the first breath of the first thought of unconditional love, the Creator God made Nunzi Wabo. And what Nunzi Wabo is the water of the universe. Nunzi Wabo is the water of the galaxy. It is the waters that flow and wave between stars. It is the water that makes up all the stars in the sky that we can see. They make up the blazing comets that are nothing but water that blaze through the night. This is Nunzi Wabo, the universe, the galaxy. With the next thought of love, the great creator created Dodo Wabo, the sacred water of Gaia. Meskakawake, or Mother Earth. That is the name that they have given her. Meskakawake. And what the Dodo Wabo, or the sacred water of Gaia, what that is the rivers, the lakes, the oceans. They are Gaia's blood. They are Gaia's life. This is where life started. This is what sustains life on Gaia. This is the second sacred water. The third sacred water of creation is Mite Wabo, spirit water. This water is the water that is found within the womb of every mother. It is the embryonic fluid with which you are given life in. It is truly the sacred water of creation. This is Mite Wabo. And women are honored to carry Mite Wabo. The next most sacred water, created in a breath of unconditional love by the Creator God, was Muska Wabo. This is the red water. This is the red water, the crimson water that flows through your veins, that pumps through your heart, that allows your brain to think and for you to create. It is created out of unconditional love, for we are sacred. We are sacred because Muska Wabo runs through our veins. Muska Wabo leads our hands in prayer and in creativity. Muska Wabo is the fourth sacred water of creation. Elders in the Ojibwa Anishinaabe Nation say good thoughts, good words. Use hands in good ways, ever toward and even towards yourself, especially towards yourself. They ask when you drink or have a drink of water or liquid of any kind, that you lift it up and say thank you. Thank you to the water that has given you life 4 different times, both in as Nunzi Wabo, as Dodo Wabo, as Mite Wabo, and as Muska Wabo. 4 times the waters of life have given and sustained your life. So we give thanks to these 4 directions, north, south, east, and west, before we drink, in honor and thanks to the waters of life. I think a lot of us have forgotten about water. We tend to now, especially because it's so easy to access water now, especially in the Western hemisphere or in Western societies. We're able to turn on our tap and it's just there instantaneously. And we have no problem with that. And sometimes I think we forget about those that have to travel long distances to get water, or what is happening to the water sources that are near us. Elder Taylor herself has spoken often about how she's not able to go out anymore the way her father and grandfathers were able to do and just drink directly from the streams. That isn't possible anymore in most cases, unless you're able to go up into the glaciers and mountains where it's at the most purest source. So I think the tale of sacred water is to show the interconnectedness of us all, that the sacred waters were given to us 4 times to allow and to sustain our lives. And the Indigenous are very in tune to that fact. And here in Ontario, they have something called water walks, and they have that on Mother's Day every year in our area. And because again, mothers are the creators of life here on Gaia, at least as far as humanity is concerned. And so they are the carriers of water. And this is true for Indigenous communities all around the world, it seems. Women are the carriers of the water, and the men are the protectors of the water. So on these water walks that my community has near here, is the Indigenous community gets together and they have a sacred bucket of water. and they pick one lake in the area, and for that weekend, they do a circumference walk of the entire lake in honor of the water. And through that, they do celebrations and songs and stories while they're walking. And the women are in their skirts, many of them, they're striped, their ribbon skirts, and the men are walking behind them as their sacred protectors. And it is truly a beautiful sight to behold. It was not able to take place the last few years due to COVID, but I believe this year coming, they're going to be able to start it again. And I am hoping to take part in that. It'll be a true honor for that. Maybe one day I'll be able to have Elder Taylor on the show too. So hopefully that would be absolutely amazing as well. But that is the story of water, and this through the eyes of the Ojibwa nation. And for me, it is truly a sacred and profound story. Again, I would highly encourage you to try and find the elder Dorothy Taylor's her telling of it, because she tells it with so much heart, and would do it so much more justice than I could ever possibly give to it. So just to close off, before we do I was going to do a brief little meditation just to help you embrace and become one with the nature that I've tried to describe to you in this show today, to bring you this story of the inspiration that is all around you, from the air you breathe to the ground you walk on to the stars above you, just how truly together and connected we all are. That was my goal for today. But I want to end it with a meditation to help you really cement that in. But before I do, I thought I would just kind of finish up with a few little housekeeping things here and there. I just wanted to let everyone know that I have started new moon ceremonies that are beginning on, the next one will be the 28th of June. As far as I know, it'll be at 7:00, and everyone is welcome. If you want more information about that, please go to my website, Waters of Self-Ascension.com or .ca. Either one will do. And again, it's Waters of Self-Ascension.ca. And you can get information there. I think I have to update it yet, but it'll be on its way very, very soon. So you'll be able to get information there on it. You can also email me directly if you want some information too. And my email is waterloveandlight@gmail.com. Again, all one word, waterloveandlight@gmail.com. So again, new moon ceremony. We just had our very first one. It was a success. Very much enjoyed it. And the second one will be coming up here on the 8th of June. And I would love to see you all there. So please, come on out. Everyone is welcome. And it is going to be a beautiful gathering of the Minga community, the Minga of us all, right? So I just wanted to say thank you again for such a beautiful and lovely show. And for right now, we're going to, for those of us who are able to, if you're driving or doing anything like that, please do not just listen. And then when you have a chance to go home, when it's safe and you can close your eyes and relax a bit more, I would encourage you to go back and reconnect with this brief meditation again, so that you can, again, just feel into the love and the connectedness of all nature. So let's start off again with 3 deep Ave Sa breaths. And then I'm going to begin with a brief meditation for us all. And then I will just close the show. So again, all of you have a beautiful, lovely day. Go out there, be inspired, inspire others, ignite your heart, and just ignite your heart and expand the world. I'm forgetting that in my head right now, but I'll remember it for future. But just go out there and ignite the world with all of your heart and creativity that you have in your soul. So until next week, let's do our meditation. Okay. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Ave. With our eyes closed now, and I would like to offer you the moment.
You finished?
Oh, no, honey, I'm not.
What?
No, I'm not, honey. Sorry, my husband's there asking me if we're finished, and
I'm
I'm trying
sorry.
to tell him, no, I'm not. So let us begin again. My sincerest and deepest apologies. So we'll start 3 more Ave Sa breaths. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. We begin with our eyes closed. The sun is beginning to set. You are by a small lake. The sky is turning blue and pink and purple. The clouds are floating and dancing by on the air as the first star peeps out from behind one. You give it a little wink, a wave, and a wish. You walk out onto a dock that sits along the shoreline, and you have a seat, placing your bare feet into the cool, refreshing waters. Little minnows come up and nibble at your toes, taking all the dead skin and providing them with the energy and food they need to go on even further. You laugh and you giggle as it tickles their toes. A loon calls out over the lake, and it echoes for minutes afterwards. You love the sound. You listen to it as it becomes ever more quiet in the distance. A fish splashes on the surface. You look down now to the very bottom of the lake. It's only a few feet below you. You could probably touch. But up through the mud, something seems to be growing. What is it? It's a lily pad. A lily pad, similar to the cousins of the lotus. It is drifting up through the muck, up to the surface before you. It is growing in size. It is becoming so big that you could almost step out onto it to sit down. And you decide to brave. You decide to trust. And you stand up and you tentatively put one little toe out there onto the lily pad. And the lily pad keeps your weight, and you give thanks. And you step out onto it with complete trust and sit down. It is becoming darker now. More and more stars are beginning to wink into your sight and your vision. The whole sky is filled with the jewels of light, the jewels of water. You see all of the stars, and you wish to reach out to them. In order to do so, you close your eyes once again, seated on your lotus, and you take a deep breath. And as you do so, you begin to feel your body relax. And you let go of the feeling of solidity. Another deep breath. And you begin to feel like you're floating. And you look down. Your lily pad has taken off from the surface of the lake. It is floating now up, not up into the sky, up towards the stars, towards Nunzi Wabo, where you can touch them, embrace them, hold them. With jewels all around, you laugh, you giggle, you embrace, you feel out into the galaxy, into the world, into the universe around you. You draw in those breaths of unconditional love from the Creator God. You draw in the divine harmony, the divine connectedness. It warms you. It warms your body. It warms your soul. And it allows you to have a sense of peace that you've never had before, you've never felt before. You embrace it wholeheartedly with all that you are. Tears streaming down your face as you stare up at Nunzi Wabo, as you stare up out at the universe. You say, thank you. Thank you, sacred waters. Thank you, Creator God. Thank you, Mother Gaia. Thank you for your lifeblood. Thank you for the blood of creation, the waters that flow through our veins, the waters that flow through you, that support us. Thank you, Nunzi Wabo, life, water of the universe, for giving us the stars that we may wish upon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You bask in this warmth of unconditional love for a few moments longer. You hug yourself. You give yourself a strong, embracing hug and say thank you to all 5 trillion of your cells, of all 5 trillion of the mitochondria in each one of those cells that supplies you with the energy to go out there and create and to be conscious of the universe around you. Thank you. And with one more kiss of gratitude to Nunzi Wabo and a bow, you close your eyes once again. The feeling of floating, of descending is now upon you as you slowly begin to descend back towards Mother Gaia. You blow her kisses as you see her waters, her veins run free and full of life. You see the shimmering jewel that is your lake before you, down below, as you descend ever closer to its turquoise, dark waters. The lily pad lights on the surface ever so gently. You didn't even get wet. So you stand up, you step off the lily pad and onto the dock. You turn once more to the pad that has given you such a beautiful journey into the cosmos. You say, thank you. Thank you for showing me the universe tonight. And the lily pad descends below the surface, back into the waters and into the mud from whence it came. With one more look out across the lake, The loon calls and the fish splashes. And one more deep breath. And I am complete.